Hello, everyone, and welcome to my third podcast. This is Big Ziggs with you, and today we are going to talk about Monday Night Raw, the King of the Ring that took place at that Raw. We're going to talk about Friday Night SmackDown, and that's about it. We're not going to really touch on TNA. I'll be doing the TNA Final Resolution preview show Friday. Possibly Friday, maybe Saturday, but you'll definitely have it by Saturday. I'll give my predictions and my thoughts on the pay-per-view as a whole and what I think going into it. So that'll be an all TNA show. And then Monday, the day after the pay-per-view, I will give you my pay-per-view review, in which I will review Final Resolution and give you my thoughts on that. And then, of course, Tuesday it'll be back to normal where I will discuss Raw and SmackDown and TNA. But this week I'm going to touch only on Raw and SmackDown. Yesterday's Raw, or Monday's Raw, I didn't think it was that great. The Miz's first night as champion, I did not like Alex Riley having a focal point in the show. I just don't like Alex Riley. I love how Punk made fun of him the whole time for the DUI thing. And it upsets me because the guy gets a DUI, and then I'm not gonna say fire the guy. He got a DUI, he screwed up. You don't have to fire him, but to give him a large role like they did on Monday after getting a DUI so soon, it's just, to me, it's like, they didn't really need him out there, and I just don't like the guy. I don't think he fits well. I don't know. It's just something about him that I don't like. Other than that, The Miz cut a pretty good promo. He took some shots, and I think one of the shots he had was a bit of a shoot. He took a shot at JBL, and then he said Triple H and someone else. And when he said those guys, I figured, that's just veterans that he's pointing out. But when he said JBL, that's not a name you really associate with WWE, higher, with the WWE, like, stars. JBL, for those of you that don't know, is known as a bit of a bully when it comes to backstage, in the wrestling community. I'm sure most of you know about the Blue Meanie incident where he legitimately punched Blue Meanie in the face and he was all cut up. And there's been many stories reported throughout the years of JBL hazing WWE rookies. The guy at Palmer Cannon, the guy Miz actually feuded with when Miz first started here, and he was Miz TV and Palmer Cannon was trying to cancel him. Palmer Cannon, I believe, quit WWE solely based on JBL's bullying of him. So, Miz took a shot. He said, JBL, I'm champion now. Look how far I've come. So I think that was a bit of a shot. I don't remember reading anything of JBL bullying Miz specifically, but I'm sure he did. I always liked JBL as a wrestler, but he's not really one I think that should have been bullying. You never heard these stories before he was champ, at least I didn't. I hope he didn't before he was the WWE champ, because when he was just Bradshaw, the, stupid long black haired, the long black hair, and he's a joke. But when he became JBL, then I guess he earned some cachet, and he earned the right, I guess, to do that in the locker room. I don't know, but I like how he took a shot at JBL. Other than that, his promo was decent. I like how him and Jerry Lawler went at it, and then Michael Cole interjected. And then that led to our main event, which was The Miz versus Jerry Lawler in a TLC match. And honestly, I was impressed with it. I'm not saying it was a good match. It was decent. But when you have a guy who's, I don't know exactly how old the King is, but I think he's in his 50s or 60s. He's at the earliest in his 50s. So he's in his 50s or 60s. And he didn't do, bad for a guy at that age. He held his own in the ring for a while. He didn't really do any special moves, but, the fact that it was TLC obviously helped the match. And then the finish was, Lawler was going up for the belt, and Michael Cole grabbed his foot, and this led to The Miz eventually, getting up there and getting the belt. At first, I hated it. I hated the move to put Michael Cole in the ring, because I just don't like seeing Michael Cole in the ring. I'm not saying I don't like seeing him in the match. I'm saying I don't like him in the ring. Take that as a literal, I don't like seeing Michael Cole in the ring. But the more I think about it, the more I like the move, because the Michael Cole-Daniel Bryan thing has got to end. It's getting old. It was good. I hated Michael Cole a year ago. I hated him. And those of you that want Jim Ross to come back, it's over. He's not coming back. He is never going to be the voice of Raw again. He might come back to SmackDown, so you can have your hopes there, because apparently they're not high on Grisham, and I don't know if they want to have Cole working 2 shows forever, as long as he's here. But JR is not coming back to Raw. It's just not going to happen. I was a JR fan, and when JR and Michael Cole switched spots, my hope was Michael Cole would butcher it and they'd put JR back on, just like always. They tried pulling JR several times. They did the coach thing and they brought in Joey Styles and it never quite stuck. It's over. He's not coming back. Michael Cole, at first, I think a lot of people hated him. I hated him. I hated him last year when he said, I remember my peak was when he called bragging rights vintage bragging rights. And it was the first one, which makes no sense because vintage just means old. Anyways, I digress. The Daniel Bryan feud, in my opinion, made Michael Cole irrelevant. I like him now. I like Michael Cole. I'm a Cole miner. I love how CM Punk also turns CM, and he finds a way to get CM. I don't know how he does it, but I've heard so many translations, and it's just great. He's like, oh yeah, Cookie Monster, Coal Miner, and I just love how he can work the CM into anything. But yeah, I'm a Coal Miner, I guess. I like Michael Cole ever since the Daniel Bryan thing. Not that I don't like Daniel Bryan. That's why I liked Daniel Bryan, because he was beating up Michael Cole. I did not know anything about Daniel Bryan. I'm not big on the indie scene. And I saw a guy basically, going at it with Cole, so I was like, I love this guy. And then I started watching again, and as time went on, I started to be like, you know what, Cole's not half bad anymore. And I became a fan of his. But the Daniel Bryan thing has gotten old. It was funny, oh, he hates Daniel Bryan. It's old now. I mean, we get it. He doesn't like Daniel Bryan. He has to stop. And I think this Monday he kind of eased up on him. And I think Lawler and Punk mentioned, we're glad to see you're finally coming around. And Michael was like, yeah, he's a good wrestler. I don't like him, but he's a good wrestler. And, he can still call him a nerd every now and then, but just to bash him the entire, throughout all of his matches, and it's just gotten old. So that's got to end. This shows me that it looks like it's going to end. He's done with that. He's now going to be a Miz fan. He's going to be solely a guy that supports the Miz, and I like that. So much so that he even cost his friend, Jerry Lawler, the WWE Championship. So that was that segment. The King of the Ring is Sheamus. Don't even get me started on this. I think it's stupid by WWE. I said in my prediction, I posted it on my previous podcast. My prediction was Alberto Del Rio. I don't like Del Rio, but I thought he would have made a good King of the Ring. It's kind of a gimmick that is reserved for heels, being a king. I mean, you look at it, King Booker was a heel, King Kurt, heel. It does good with heels. Faces don't really. King is the pompous gimmick, and that works better with heels. So I would have liked to have seen, Del Rio. I thought of the choices, Del Rio was one, Morrison was another, Cody Rhodes, Dashing Cody Rhodes, and Drew McIntyre were all kind of guys that could have fit that role nice. And when Morrison got to the finals, I thought for sure Morrison was going to be your new King of the Ring. And he wasn't. I don't know why they put it on Sheamus. What good does this do? What good does being the King of the Ring do for Sheamus? Sheamus already has won the Ultimate Prize twice. He's won the WWE Championship twice. So winning King of the Ring after winning the WWE Championship really does nothing for you, because you've already been to the mountaintop. And I consider, and I'm sure most people do consider, Sheamus one of the main eventers on WWE programming. That's Raw. That's including Raw and SmackDown. He's just been, for the past several months, with no Triple H, and Shawn Michaels is gone, Taker, he's been on and off, and, Sheamus has stepped into the limelight, and I consider him a main eventer, and he doesn't need the King of the Ring. John Morrison could have used it. He's that guy that's right on that next tier. And I felt like winning the King of the Ring could have, built him up more. He doesn't have to win the WWE title anytime soon, but the King of the Ring could have delayed giving him the championship matches, but they screwed that up. I thought Del Rio could have used it. I don't like Del Rio. I just thought it would have been good for his gimmick. Same with Dashing Cody Rhodes and the Chosen One, Drew McIntyre, but they put it on Sheamus. I don't agree with it. I don't think there's any, I don't think I'm going to ever like this move. And it's not because I don't like Sheamus or anything. It's just because I don't think it does anything for Sheamus. The King of the Ring was made to, build these superstars up. It's like winning Money in the Bank or, the Royal Rumble. And the Royal Rumble is something you can always win because it's such a rare occasion. There's one every year, and it gets you to the main event of WrestleMania. So you can win a Royal Rumble whenever. Winning a Royal Rumble after winning, several WWE championships, it actually does help build your character if there's any building left to do. But winning a King of the Ring, it doesn't really guarantee. Now he's just a King of the Ring, It doesn't do much for me. I don't like the move. The John Cena Nexus storyline is dead in my opinion. Not dead as far as, it's obviously going to continue, but as far as my interest, it's done. I don't, for the first time, and I think this is why I thought Monday Night Raw was horrible, by the way. The reason I think I thought it was horrible was because Nexus didn't intrigue me whatsoever. I've loved Raw since Nexus came on in June 7th. And I've always been curious, what's Nexus going to do? What are they going to do? Well, Monday, it just didn't, I didn't care. I did not want to see Nexus. Barrett, to me, looked awful on the mic. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew Cena was going to come back and say, I'm going to take all you guys out, fired or not fired. And I love how he's getting backstage, interviews done with the camera back there, even though the guy is out of a job. But that's what they're gonna do. I don't like it. There's nothing I really can say about it. The only intriguing part of the storyline is what's Otunga gonna do. He has a plan. I'm wondering what his plan is. Other than that, obviously what's gonna happen is Cena's gonna beat the shit out of all of Nexus until Barrett hires him back, and then they'll probably have a match at the Rumble. That's predictable. I really felt like they should have let Cena keep his job, but it's just, I don't even want to talk about it. It pisses me off so much that they took a storyline as good as this one, as good as the Nexus, and they're killing it so way too soon. It could have lasted a couple more months. Nexus to me is now, unless something, I'm not going to call them dead after 1 week where they were horrible. It's actually been 2 weeks now, but it just seems like if this continues on about 3 more weeks, I give it 3 weeks, and if I'm not intrigued by Nexus, I'd say it's over, which is sad because they become one of my favorite groups of all time. Pretty much sums up Monday Night Raw. SmackDown wasn't the greatest either. It was alright. It was better than Raw. I thought Raw was god-awful. One of the worst Raws I've seen in months. And I'm not going to put that on the Miz's champ because he was only barely out there, and I'm going to put it more on the King of the Ring and John Cena Nexus storyline because those to me were just two bombs dropped by the WWE of how bad, like bombs in a bad way. SmackDown, I don't like the Edge Taker feud. I know Edge isn't going to win the belt, and obviously I've said before I'm a huge Edge fan, and to me it's just, he's not going to win the belt. Taker's going to come back eventually, and I'd love the Taker Kane storyline to be over because I don't like it, but when he comes back, he's got to face Kane. Taker's got to face Kane. You can't just ignore what happened, for those several months. And so Kane's gonna hold the belt when Taker comes back. I don't think anyone's gonna take the belts off him even for a month, until Taker comes back. I think Kane will keep the belt on. This is his farewell apparently. I've been hearing that his contract's up with WWE and he's not gonna be renewed. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. I don't like Kane. He's a loser. The guy won one belt for one day, a world belt. Back in like 98, 97, or 99, I don't know, 98 I think. And then it took him 10 years, 12 years to win another one. The guy's just not a main eventer to me. I don't like it. Hopefully Edge does win, but I wouldn't expect him to. Other than that, SmackDown was mostly King of the Ring qualifying matches. I do want to say about Raw, CM Punk's commentating is absolute gold. I love it. I love CM Punk's commentating. I'm pissed off that this guy has to go back in the ring at some point because he actually made that bad Raw decent. He made it bearable. So I did want to mention that. I think I covered everything. TLC will probably be Miz and Orton and Kane and Edge and in some sort of TLC or tables, ladders, or chairs match. I don't know. That pretty much covers everything. I will talk, like I said, TNA on Friday. Expect the podcast to be up Friday. And I will preview and predict my matches. You can also see my predictions on WrestleView.com under the student of the week named Brian C. Thanks. I think that's it. I'll see you guys Friday.